Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. It is post game week 2 of the preseason is in the books, and there are a few injuries. Dominic Puni, PCL injury on his knee. I saw him walking off the field very carefully, very slowly. It was not on the field goal play is what I'm hearing. So I know he got kind of tangled up. He did jog off the field after that play. So it wasn't on that field goal play. It was on another play, banged his knee into the ground, PCL injury. And that does make sense because that is the same thing that happened to Christian McCaffrey last year in Buffalo, right when he was getting going. Got in a kind of tackled funky, hit his knee on the ground, PCL injury there too. So Dominic Puni does have a chance to be ready for week 1. But of course, no timeline is absolutely concrete. So I'm here in the visitors press conference room. Dominic Puni again out for a while. We'll not see him in the preseason, potentially week 1, but they'll do more tests when they get back to the Bay Area and see what's going on there. He did, though, return to the field, sitting on the bench. I think that's a good sign. He did not have any supportive device or wraps around his knees, but I did post a video of him walking off, and it did not look like he was 100% comfortable, but I think he will make a return at some point early in the season, if not week 1. Connor Colby took over at left guard due to injury over there. So, we've got some injuries on the offensive line, but a good thing is that they are not season-ending injuries. So we'll see him come back. Also, Patrick Taylor dislocated shoulder. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. Corey Kiner, high ankle sprain. He'll be out for probably a month. Kyle Shanahan said a couple of weeks on all of those guys, but high ankle sprains, that one looked a lot worse than obviously Jordan Watkins, who didn't even realize he had a high ankle sprain. He's been walking around without anything on his leg. I did not see those other guys leave the locker room, or didn't see them in the locker room. We were in there after the game. So hopefully Corey Kiner, high ankle sprain, maybe a month or so. He left the game on a cart, and Patrick Taylor with the shoulder, potentially a couple weeks, but dislocated. So not good. Got to take care of that. So outside of that, the 49ers kind of got out of here, at least mostly healthy. At least there were no season enders. But Brock Purdy, nice first drive, 12 plays, 61 yards, led to a field goal. It did stall out at the end, but Jake Moody kicked a field goal, so they did have a nice drive. Lots of connection between him and Ricky Pearsall, and all that offseason work really is showing on the field. Brock Purdy said, yes, we're getting our timing down. He's, running great routes, and they are really communicating with each other off this field after reps, after practice, after games like this. So I think we're going to see a lot of Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy, and you're seeing why they drafted him in the first round last year. It really is just him getting more reps with Brock Purdy. They're going to get more comfortable. And so that's really, I think, how this growth process is going between Brock and Ricky. Other big storyline, of course, Jake Moody making that game-winning 59-yard attempt. He kicked a lot of field goals. He missed one. He missed a 53-yarder. And the 26-yarder that he made looked like it wouldn't have made it from 27. He said he just didn't come off his foot well, didn't kick well. But I think this is a really great game experience for Jake Moody, right? He made made the 30-yard, 26, 50, 44, and 59. Missed from 53, but for him to come back in a game-winning situation at the end after having a wobbly 26-yarder and a 53-yard miss, I think, the team rallying around him is only going to help boost his confidence. And that's really what was missing last year. While he had the high ankle sprain, I think losing his confidence, that's what he told me was the biggest influence on his kicking last year. He was at the lowest level of confidence in his entire football career. So for him to have this experience and gain his confidence back, I think this sets him up for better success and also healthy ankles. He said he didn't change his footwork at all. He said if he needed to get like a 62 or 64 yarder, he might have changed it back to that 3-step kick, but he stayed with a 2-step kick. He said he probably could have made it 62 yards with the same kick. So, he had a little bit of extra leg on there, and The team rallied around him. They mobbed him, picked him up. He said it was something, that, only happens in dreams to have that game winner and, to have that feeling of the whole entire team rallying around him, getting him, lifting him up in the air. So a good game. I know it's been up and down for Jake Moody, but I think this is a good step for him, good step in elevating his confidence. So I think that's a great storyline from this preseason game. Also, another guy who bounced back, Nick Martin. What a game from him. He had a tough first preseason opener. He told me, he said, I think I was trying too hard. I was trying to go after too much. He's like, I need to let the game come to me. And he really studied his game film, learned from his mistakes, and had such a great game. When you look at what the defense did, Nick Martin, 5 tackles, 1 assist, 1 sack for 9 yards, 2 tackles for a loss, and 1 quarterback hit. So, I mean, what a great bounce back for Nick Martin. Another guy who had a great game, Chase Lucas, sacked the quarterback as well, 2 tackles, tackle for a loss, quarterback hit, interception, and a pass breakup. Chase Lucas also told me that, he's bouncing back from last year. Last year was a tough year for him. He was on the practice squad, didn't get out there, was on the bench. He said he hated it. And he had to really turn his mindset around. He told me that getting his confidence back was also a switch that he had to flip. He's like, I'm not going to let this happen to me again. And so he's really turned himself around. Trent Williams is a guy who he's been buddies with. And, Kyle Shanahan said, I think he ran to both end zones after his interception. He said he was running around looking for Trent Williams because he told him he was going to get a pick. And so he ran all the way to the end zone and then ran back to Trent Williams. And you saw on the 49ers social media page, those two chatting it up. He said, having Robert Saleh as a defense coordinator has had a huge impact on his career as well. And so I think Chase Lucas is a guy that you're going to see out there. Marquise Siegel also had a great game. But Chase Lucas, what a bounce back for him from last year. Marquise Siegel also had a good game, 3 tackles. He's a guy who is in competition for that safety position with Jair Brown. And Jair Brown had some ups and downs in the game. I know he's trying to make his way back from kind of a tough second year, but he's in competition with Marquise Siegel. Tim Ryan told me before the game, he said, hey, he's like, it's between those two. And it's a close competition, but these games at the beginning of the season are really going to show who's going to have that starting safety position. So outside of that, on the defense, Nick Martin, again, the guys on the defensive line, not a lot of pressure, but some guys, these guys are new. These guys are guys that they've gotten off the street, off their couches recently. So I think, Alfred Collins is going to start making his way back. I think, he's just behind the 8 ball because he didn't have the, off-season experience, all those off-season reps, no mini camp. So, he's playing catch up and he's getting there. I think he's only going to improve, but it's conditioning, it's being in football shape. And that's a thing that's, been a challenge for him because missing time is, missing reps. And that makes a huge difference. So Nick Bosa out with neck soreness. Of course, he wasn't going to play in the preseason. Nick Bosa did not play. Trent Williams didn't play. No Fred Warner, no Christian McCaffrey. They were all on the field pregame doing their warmups. So now I know there was a little concern about Nick Bosa having neck soreness, but he was out there. He did in his entire pregame warmup. So he also worked out with Trent Williams. They did some chatting and they did some kind of work together. Nick Bosa doing some pass rush moves against Trent Williams. Trent Williams was talking to him potentially about, I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they were doing hand work. And so it's a good sign that Nick Bosa will make his way back. He should be ready for week 1, just with a little neck soreness. So missed practice this week. They don't want to take any chances, want to make sure he stays healthy, but he did go through his entire pregame warmup, had his game shirt on, the one that he's had since he's been a rookie, the torn and tattered shirt. Christian McCaffrey was also out doing his entire pregame warmup. Trent Williams did as well. Fred Warner, those guys were out there doing their warmups, which is a good sign that they're healthy and they'll just not play in the preseason, but they'll be out there for week 1 with Brock Purdy out there. Ricky Pearsall was out there, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle stayed out there for a series. So you had some starters out there. Luke Farrell played a lot. He was out there and getting out there for blocking, getting out there for leading run blocking as well, pass protection, run blocking. I saw Jake Tongas out there a lot as well, kind of leading the running back. So, I know they let go of Ross Dwelley. He's probably a guy that they can bring back to the practice squad at some point, but it looks like they're going to keep those 4 tight ends. It's obviously George Kittle, Luke Farrell, Jake Tongas, and Braden Willis. So those are your 4 tight ends that will probably be on the roster for the 53. Running backs, man, they are depleted. So you've got Jeff Wilson Jr., good to see him in the end zone again. It was Keyshawn Vaughn. Those 2 guys have been on the team for about 5 minutes out there taking all the reps with Patrick Taylor going out with a shoulder injury. You've got Christian McCaffrey not playing in the preseason, Isaac Arendo with the shoulder injury, potentially week 1, and Jordan James finger injury. So he could be potentially ready for week 1 as well. Wide receivers, Juwan Jennings was at the game, did not see him do any warm-ups or workouts, but he was there at the game. This is an interesting note. Brandon Ayuk did more pre-game kind of running routes, catching passes out there, much more than we've ever seen him do at practice. So he's definitely on his way back. He looks good. He looks agile. He looks mobile. But again, the injury happened week 6. I just don't think they risk it with him and put him out there early. They're going to make sure he's healthy, make sure the knee is healed before they put him out there. So many injuries. Let's see what else. So many injuries. All right. So Brock Purdy, 5 of 7 for 66 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 100.9 rating. Mac Jones hit 13 of his 16 attempts, 135 yards. He did throw a pick. His rating was 75.8. Carter Bradley connected on 8 of his 13 attempts, 96 yards, no interceptions, much improved performance, 84.1 rating. From the Raiders, it was fun to watch Austin Genty perform, and man, D Winters hit him hard. He's a guy who I think is really going to have a breakout year, along with Tatum Bethune. Good Lord, why could I not? I got a brain fart on that one. Tatum Bethune, but both those guys delivering some serious hits in the game. I think those guys are going to be fun to watch. As far as pass rushers, defensive linemen, Sebastian Valdez got out there a little bit. And there was another sack by a couple new guys, a lot of pressure, but not a huge. I mean, these are guys that have been on the streets and they're new. So they're going to get a little bit more. Damone Harris, he had a sack. So it's a lot of guys that are not well known and that they're going to have a chance to make a name for themselves in the next preseason game. And that is Saturday with the Chargers. The schedule for this week: no practice no practice Sunday, Monday. They will have practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, take Friday off, and then the Chargers come to town on Saturday. So that is the schedule for the week. That's all I have for you. Hope you guys are well. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. I've got a ton of pregame videos. I'll post them up on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, lots of injuries, but they should be getting healthy as the season comes up. Week 1. Stay tuned, and I'll have more for you coming up.